The Good Party president, Patricia de Lille, does not identify as a colored, but she identifies as a South African. Out of 100, Patricia de Lille rates Cyril Ramaphosa's administration between 55 and 60%. She also believes that Jacob Zuma and Mkhonto Wesizwe should be taken to court for the arms deal. Patricia de Lille believes that the people in the Western Cape who are going to vote for the DA deserve what is coming for them. And let's talk about this and much more.
Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Says So. I'm your host, King 053, Mr. Easy Imali Enengi, and we're back at it again with another one. And this time around, we're speaking about the Good Party. I think it's the first time this year I'm covering the Good Party, so it's a good thing. Let's give some of these smaller political parties some coverage also. The Good Party is one of those political parties that managed to get 2 seats in Parliament, in the National Assembly. And in 2019, they got something around 70,000 votes. Those 70,000 votes will not be enough, I believe, this year for 2 seats. I think 2 seats will be somewhere in the range of 80 this year. But we will see, according to the calculations, how it's going to pan out. Now, as you heard in the intro, I sometimes feel sorry for coloreds that don't want to identify as black, because you know that saying that coloreds will never be white enough, but post 1994 they believe that they are not black enough. Now, depending on their lineage and their bloodline, some coloreds are black, completely black, but Patricia de Lille, coming from the racist DA party that clearly discriminates you because of the skin and the race you are, she then turns around and says, in the Good Party, we don't identify, we don't see color. She does not identify as colored. Listen to this.
Before we deal with the policy proposals,
yes,
as well as politics in general, let me phrase it this way: do you identify as colored?
I identify as South African first. I think our constitution is very clear that we need to be united in our diversity. And if people, after they've identified themselves as South African, by choice want to say, I'm a colored or Indian or white or black, that is entirely their choice. Mm-hmm. But for me, I'm a South African, I'm a Pan-Africanist. I believe, like the late Robert Sobukwe said, there's only one race, and that's the human race.
And that's the human race.
Yes.
But do you accept that there, according at least to our legislation as well and our demographics, yes, that there's a cohort of a demographic that is colored people?
Yes, it stems from our history, yeah. Alden. Before 1994, the coloreds were all pushed towards the Western Cape. It was called a colored preferential area. And so it's not by choice that majority of colored people live there. I know that in the Employment Equity Act, we still make reference to different races, but that, of course, is to deal with the injustices of the past and to make sure that we build an inclusive society.
Guys, the reason why I tell colored people to vote for Gayton McKenzie is because he's unapologetically standing for colored people, even though Gayton McKenzie himself is black. But anyway, that's a discussion for another day. But Patricia, we can argue that she's colored, if there is such a thing anyway. I feel sorry for people who say we are South African. They are blind to the realities that are in the ground. No matter how noble you want to be, how peacekeeping you want to be, when you step in a room, you either step in, or when I step in a room, you don't see a South African first. You see a black man first. You understand? When Patricia steps in the room, we see a colored woman stepping in the room. Now, identifying yourself as colored first is celebrating how colored people came about, and we're not going to get into that today. And she claims that she's a Pan-Africanist. Pan-Africanist that does not see color. Kanjan. People are, when you look at a political leader and you ask yourself, why are people voting for this person? There's absolutely, according to me, you guys will correct me on the comment section, no substance in this woman. No zeal, no fire, no hunger. Maybe she's good in the job that she does, where Cyril Ramaphosa appointed her, but I don't see a person that can bring about change for colored people, especially in the Western Cape, them being the majority of the people. Someone must stand up and speak for colored people and black people and say, this is our turn. White people, when they were ruling, they were strictly favoring white people. It's the white people that speak against BEE now, but in the apartheid days, they were supporting only white Afrikaner businesses. Only white Afrikaner businesses could bid for such certain things. Only white Afrikaner companies could open business in certain areas. Only white Afrikaner people could get jobs somewhere. That is their BEE. Today they have got a problem with South Africans doing black BEE, broad-based business empowerment. They've got a problem for us doing what we experienced through the apartheid regime. Then you find leaders like Patricia de Lille that says that misquote the heroes of apartheid to say there's one human race. That quote, Barkiman, when Subuku said that, he meant we are all human. Why are you mistreating us? Because you see us differently. You understand? We are all human. We bleed the same blood. But honestly, the cover that we wear makes people judge us according to how they see us. And she says it's the politicians that drive that drive this division between us people. Well, sorry to tell you, ma'am, you are a politician yourself. You yourself see color. You're just denying. You're not trying to be diplomatic in your answers. It's not that time. When it's time for campaigning, you better stand with what you stand for. And stop standing on the fence when it comes to issues, especially issues of race. So... And she says that she's, politicians that bring then religion into politics. I'm a Christian, the DA is a racist and all of that. Let's just listen what Patricia is saying. She's confusing me.
Out there. And this is what I normally do. I said to him, look, I'm a Christian. Like you are Christians too. Most of you are Christians. I depart from the point of view that I'm afraid of no one. I only fear my God. And if you are Christians, why do you allow that this fear that the Democratic Alliance is pushing to you, that affects you? If you are a Christian, that's how far I go. And I even warn people to say that I hear your complaints, I hear what your needs are, but if you go and vote for the Democratic Alliance again, you deserve what is coming to you.
But you were campaigning for them at some point, weren't you?
Yes, but you know what? At the time when Helen Zille and myself came together, there were 4 principles that I could live with, values. And the one was redress, reconciliation, delivery, and diversity. I could live with that because that's what I fought for in the struggle against apartheid. Once you're inside there and you now want to implement those principles, no, then you can see people don't really mean what is written down here. But when Mmusi Maimane became the leader, they dropped all of that. They came with some stupid thing of opportunity and fairness and all of that. So I implemented those, and the record is there to see. I had no less than 42 redress projects when I was the mayor of the city of Cape Town. So what they say and what they do were two completely different things. And that's the main reason why I left. You couldn't deal with apartheid spatial planning. You tried to bring people back into the city, integrate the city. I identified 18 pieces of land in terms of redress, their own policy. And that was my biggest sin that I've committed in terms of them.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, all the non-white politicians that left the DA or got kicked out of the DA, all of them, it comes down to one thing, is race. They all say I was mistreated because I was touching the white elites. Patricia experienced that. Now today, to stand up and say, no, I don't identify as colored or I identify as South African first is pure rubbish. She experienced that racism in the DA. That is why now she can turn around and say, the people who are going to vote for the DA, you deserve what you're going to get. When she was in the DA, she was not saying these things. That is why we don't trust politicians 100%. Because politicians, they lie because of the regalia that they are wearing. How many times have you seen a politician after they get out of this party and get in that party, then start criticizing the party they come from? It means they've got no morals. They don't apply their their full character at all times. I must be king every time. Whether I'm in the ANC, in the DA, in the PA, in the whatever, I must be a righteous person who do things the right way. And when things are wrong, I must be able to speak and say, this is wrong. Even though my party is standing on this stance, they believe that what Israel is doing to Palestine is right. I say this is wrong. In the DA, there were leaders that stood up and got kicked out for saying what Israel is doing is wrong. I respect those people. That's why I say I can be in politics. I understand politics and everything, but I will not keep quiet when I see my party is going against the black agenda. It's going to be difficult for me to keep quiet. Whether I'm in the MK, in the ANC, in the EFF, in the ATM, when I see, I'm going to say it. Especially as the youth, you should be voicing out your disagreements with the leaders of the political party. To say, listen, we hear what you are saying as the leaders, we trust your decision, but we want you to know, us as the Youth League, we disagree with these people. Understand? So that when you leave the party and you say, I disagree with what party so-and-so did, and I did say it when I was there, then we can respect you. But when you were in the DA was a darling, and people told you the DA is a racist party. But you had to wait for you to get out of the DA for you to criticize them. I don't like that type of a character, And another thing I don't like, because she was appointed as one of the ministers by Cyril Ramaphosa. She does not have a stance when it comes to the Phala saga. No stance whatsoever. Even her party even decided to not vote when it came to the Phala issue. Listen to this.
Okay. Another one here, and this is from Ganjalos joining, sent the question in from Durban. Morning, besides your plans in the Western Cape, why are you not vocal on a Ramaphosa Phala scandal and to corruption within the Ramaphosa's cabinet? You were vocal during Zuma's time. Do you rate 100% to the Ramaphosa administration. Okay, let's start there.
Yes.
How would you rate the Ramaphosa administration out of 100?
Let me first say, correct, that the Manifesto of Good is a recipe to rebalance society in our whole country. We're participating on a national level in all 9 provinces and nationally. So our manifesto is that. If you have to rate one politician, when the Constitution says the president together with his members of cabinet are individually and collectively accountable and responsible. Now, if you rate the president, he does our performance.
No, the administration.
Agreements.
The question is, how do you rate the Zuma administration? Yeah, the Ramaphosa administration.
Oh, the administration.
Yeah.
Our departure is this, Alderin, that after the 29th of May, nothing is going to change in our country unless we deal with the administration. That
But the question is, out of 100%, how do you rate the Ramaphosa administration?
I'm coming to that. So after the elections, you might see some change of the Titanic chairs on the deck, but you're going to see very little in terms of implementation. So when it comes to implementation of what we have achieved, yes, we've achieved a lot over the past 30 years. We could have done better. So my rating for President Ramaphosa will be between 55 and 60.
Is that a pass or is it a fail?
I think it's a pass.
It is a pass.
Yes.
Is that because you're part of the cabinet?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
But then the issue that the viewer also raised is on
the media and the press statements that we have released. It's not that we are quiet at all. It's there.
But you decided
the
to abstain when the inquiry's report
Yes.
came before Parliament.
Yes.
Justice Ngobo's report came
Yes.
before Parliament.
Yes.
Good Party decided to abstain.
Yes, we did. And the reasons for that is we believe in the rule of law. We believed that before that report had to come to Parliament, we had to wait for the outcome of the court proceedings because all allegations need to be tested. So it was on a principle level that we abstained because we believe that we should have waited for the courts to make a ruling.
In
first.
hindsight, do you think it's still the right decision, considering that the president decided not to pursue that matter anymore? And his lawyer said that the matter is now moot.
It is mute because...
But you participated in what would have led to it becoming moot.
It is mute because of the parliamentary report.
Yes.
But remember, we still have the separation of powers between the judiciary, parliament, and the executive. The courts must be allowed and due process must follow.
But Parliament, shouldn't
Yes.
Parliament also be allowed to do its own investigation? You came up with the rules as Parliament and said that this is the impeachment rules.
Parliament did.
Yeah, but
They
you decided as the
appointed
good
a
party
judge.
to abstain, and that's the
Yes.
point that I'm raising. That
Yeah.
you can't just say that it is the courts that
Yes.
must find out what the truth is.
Yes.
Parliament has its own mechanisms to decide exactly the same thing.
But this is Parliament. You see, that's why people sometimes say you are one or two people in Parliament. You can still, at a parliamentary level, on a principal position, say, this is our position.
Our position is that we don't have a position.
No.
That's what abstaining means.
We just look at the record of Parliament. You will see the reasons why we decided to abstain. Because we still believe up till today that we need to get the courts to due process must be followed. They must do their work. And then it must come to Parliament. So you keep the separation of powers also.
You know, the Phala issue is so straightforward. I don't respect politicians that can say it like that. Was there foreign currency found in the residence of Cyril Ramaphosa's nature reserve, Phala? Yes or no? That it ends there. If the answer is yes, then how much was it? Millions of rands. Okay, was this millions of rand disclosed? No. Then there was a crime. And Cyril Ramaphosa is at fault because it's his premises. Full stop. But politicians want to make us feel stupid. Level one's for a hot fat man. You understand? People are arrested for stealing the money at Phala. This money is in couches. How rich must you be for money to sleep in the couches? In couches, money. How rich are you? When children are falling in pit toilets, you as the president, you've got dollars under your couches. People don't have the integrity to say this. They can criticize you. They can say, how can you speak like this and all of that. What is wrong is wrong. What is right is right. It doesn't matter who does it. Why is it that we can criticize Jacob Zuma for the fire pool? But when we get to the Phala issue, then we must turn a blind eye. Why are we like this? You know? So for me, this is the first person. Imagine this is a person that is not in the ANC who says the ANC's administration of Cyril Ramaphosa in the past 5 years, I give it about 5 years, 55% to 60%. This lady is pro-ANC. She cannot tell us anything. The people of the Good Party who gave the Good Party 2 seats, they gave those 2 seats to the ANC. It's nothing wrong. It's politics. If that's what they choose to do, then it's fine. But it must be vocalized in that manner so that the people can know what they are voting for. Rather leave the Good Party, those 70,000 voters vote for the ANC so that the ANC can reduce the percentage of the the DA party in the Western Cape. One thing I will celebrate in this election more than anything is to see the DA drop under 50% in the Western Cape. I'm telling you, I'm throwing a party. I'm throwing a party. By the way, in the beginning of the video, I was supposed to address Aldrin Sempier, who's my favorite SAFM presenter. I love that guy so much. When I listen to him, he's okay. Aldrin, you are black. My brother, you are black. If you see this video, you are black. Stop this thing. Colors, they must stop this thing of half colored, half white, half pink, half green. You are black. Aldrin. My brother Aldrin, you are black. Full stop. Please, my brother. Stop this thing that you are doing. When they abstained in Parliament, refusing to vote against or for the investigation of the Phala thing, I was so disappointed with political parties that cannot take a stance. Take a stance, man. Say yes or no. Show your people that you've got a backbone. Show the people that have voted for you that you've got a backbone. These people, the Good Party, they're not gonna see these 2 seats again this year. The PA has taken their voters. They may think they are bigger than the PA, but I'm telling you, the PA has taken their voters. The Good Party, the best they're gonna do in this election is to get 1 vote. Promise you. I promise you. Mark my words and come back to this video. Let's listen to what she says about Jacob Zuma. All of a sudden, now she has got an opinion because it's Jacob Zuma.
Advising whistleblowers and fund the National Prosecuting Authority as well as the Special Investigating Unit. But I want to phrase this question this way. Former President Jacob Zuma's corruption case, it is still before the courts. Next year will mark 20 years, I think, since that indictment. And that matter has still not been finalized. And remember, there was the Lille dossier. And we are still here. There was a commission of inquiry. Yet nobody has been held accountable. Except for Tony Ngeni, of course.
Yeah, I know. And it's really not fair to Tony Ngeni that he alone had to be the fall guy. But it was on the 9th of September 1999 when I stood up in Parliament with what was then dubbed the Lille dossier. Since that time, Eldon, I've been most probably called 6 times by the National Prosecuting Authority to start the case and be the first witness. I've been to Durban, I've been to Pietermaritzburg, it's just not happening. It is now how many years since 1999 where former President Zuma always said, I want to have my day in court. But everything has been tried in terms of playing the justice system to avoid that day in court. And it's an indictment because the arms deal was the very first big corruption where we had to send out a strong message to the rest of the country that corruption does not pay. But because we failed, corruption became another pandemic in our country.
Should the NPA also bear some of the responsibility? In the clip that we played a bit earlier on, they were speaking about how the former president, with the Stalingrad approach.
Yes.
But if you think about that specific period when he was president of the country and the NPA actually defending its decision not to prosecute him up until the SCA matter, do you think that the NPA should take some of the responsibility?
Yes, of course, because they sent out mixed signals. They were not firm. And whether they were political interference, I don't know. But certainly, I think the whole value chain of the justice system need to really critically look and say, we now need to start this.
We now need to...
The most easiest politician to criticize, Jacob Zuma. Over 20 years of this armed deal case since 1999, the courts don't have enough proof to prosecute and jail that man. That is the truth. Even, how after Jacob Zuma went out of power from the presidency, that was the time to get him because he had no influence. Thuli Madonsela tried her best. Zondo tried his best. They can't pinpoint this man. I'll speak about the arms deal because the arms deal benefited the ANC. We'll speak about that another time. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's fine. What I wanted to speak about in this video is how Patricia de Lille then all of a sudden has got answers when it comes to Jacob Zuma, but when it comes to Cyril Ramaphosa, she's mute. Beating around you can't answer the question straight. With Jacob Zuma, she's shooting from the hip. Because she all of a sudden knows what is right and wrong. And that is the case with most people, most followers. They can't criticize Julius Malema. They can't criticize Jacob Zuma because they favor them. And when you criticize them, they call you are decampaigning the EFF. Because we are not allowed to have opinions about their leaders. But that's not going to happen in this channel. Of course not. That's why I keep on telling you guys, I'm not affiliated, associated, member of any political party in South Africa. All political parties' president get the fire from me. I don't care. I don't care. There must be, look, we in this channel are standing for Pan-Africanism, things that benefit us, the black people, full stop. Anything else we speak against. When is someone going to stand for black people? When are black people going to close the gap? After these elections, you're not going to hear anything about land anymore. After these elections, they were using land to campaign, using nationalization of mines, banks, and whatever. They were using after these elections. Mark my words. Not going to see any of that. They will be trying to fix policies, debating the NHI, taking it back, saying, no, we can't do it now, focusing on the borders, focusing on this. As you open your eyes, it's already 2019, it's time to vote again. Where are black people? Then we'll be singing a song that black people, it's been 34, 35 years, we still don't own the land. We still don't own the minerals. Those are politicians. Don't ever make a mistake of thinking a politician is not thinking for himself. Don't ever make that mistake. I'm telling you now, don't ever make that mistake. You understand? Everyone is in there to benefit their family. To benefit their family. True Pan-Africanism, it's not there. It's not there. It's not there. Let's wait and see what is going to happen. Because this election is going to produce the most diverse, rubbish National Assembly that we've ever seen. Rise Mzansi, Arise Mzansi, Bosa, and what's the other one? All of these small bargaining action say all of these parties, those parties will vote against land expropriation. Mark my words. Mark my words. I'm telling you, luckily the DA is going to decline. Luckily the DA is going to decline, and hopefully the black parties will stand up and vote together. But that's not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, because most of your black parties are funded by white monopoly capitalists. And you need the ANC to vote with you to change the law. You need the ANC. So very disappointed with Patricia de Lille. I see no leadership qualities in her. Her political career is coming to an end. This one, a political career. Those who are still voting for her, Pumangulo Muntulo Hambano Votelan Amakhalat lost my demands 8. Lost the Fromans 8. Look, vote for Gaten Mackenzie ma. But I think no, there's by a better that Anakan be the PA. PA stand for colored mensa. The PA stand for men clear like a mensa. Mensa van clear. Verstaan jy? So ek dink dis maar beter om vir diamond te stem dan los julle maar die vromens. Die vromens is bevolk man, she's confused. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, before I get carried away, thank you so much for everyone that's supporting African Mojolo. I'm somehow going to make a video right now for African Mojolo with King. 50 subscribers. Wow. I'm so grateful, guys. Peace, guys. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to King Said So. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe here. Let's hit that 30,000 subscribers very soon, guys. I appreciate it so much. I'm putting in the work. Until we meet next time, don't forget to pray. After you pray, stand up, African child. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace. Pan-Africanism. I salute you.